What if I told you that your car could be hiding a deadly ticking time bomb, and it's on the very wheels you trust to keep you safe? Right now, millions of UK drivers are unknowingly driving on tyres that are dangerously old, some over 10 years old, and passing MOTs while doing it. The shocking truth: there's a tiny code on your tyre called the DOT code that reveals its exact age, and if you ignore it, you could face blowouts, accidents, or worse. Stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how to check your tyres in seconds and make sure you're not unknowingly driving on a disaster waiting to happen. Every tyre sold in the UK and across most of the world has something called a DOT code. You'll find it written on the sidewall of your tyre, right after the letters DOT. At first glance, it looks like a random jumble of letters and numbers, but the last 4 digits of that code hold a crucial secret. Those 4 digits tell you exactly when your tyre was made, the week and year of manufacture. For example, if your tyre says DOT, a B12 2319, that means it was made in week 23 of 2019. That's around June 2019. It's simple once you know how to read it. But here's the scary part: most drivers never check it. And that's a huge problem, because tyres age even if they're barely used. You see, rubber isn't built to last forever. Over time, it dries out, hardens, and loses flexibility, especially if the car is parked outside or used infrequently. After a few years, tiny cracks start forming inside the rubber. And when those cracks deepen, the tyre becomes unstable, weak, and prone to sudden failure, even if it still has plenty of tread. This is what tyre experts call age-related degradation. And the number one way to spot it is that tiny DOT code. Now, here's where the warning gets serious. In 2020, after several fatal accidents linked to aging tyres, the UK government introduced strict new rules. Under those regulations, any tyre that's more than 10 years old is now banned from being used on the front axles of lorries, buses, coaches, and minibuses, and on any single wheels on the rear of minibuses. But that's not all. Although it's not illegal, yet for private car owners, the DVSA Tyre Safe and the AAA have all issued urgent warnings that the same rule should apply to all vehicles, because old tyres pose the same danger no matter what you drive. And the data is chilling. Tyre Safe found that 1 in 5 UK cars is currently being driven on tyres that are over 8 years old, some even older than the car itself. That's potentially millions of vehicles at risk, many of them passing MOTs because the tread looks fine, while the internal structure is literally falling apart. So, what exactly happens when tyres get too old? Let's break it down. 1. Loss of grip. Aged rubber becomes harder and less elastic, drastically reducing grip, especially in wet or icy conditions. 2. Increased braking distance. Worn-out compounds don't flex properly, meaning your car takes longer to stop. 3. Cracking and blowouts. The biggest danger: small cracks can suddenly turn into explosive blowouts at motorway speeds. 4. Poor handling. Your car may feel unstable or floaty in corners or at high speeds, even if everything else seems fine. These are warning signs most drivers ignore until it's too late. Now you might be wondering, how old is too old? Most tyre experts agree that once your tyres hit 6 years old, you should start thinking seriously about replacing them, even if the tread looks okay. By 10 years, they should absolutely be replaced, no matter how good they appear on the outside. And here's a tip: if you buy a used car or even a second-hand set of tyres, checking the DOT code should be your first move, because dealers, garages, and private sellers don't always check tyre age, and it's surprisingly common to find cars fitted with tyres that are 10, 12, or even 15 years old. That's not just bad luck, it's potentially deadly. So, Let's make this practical. Here's exactly how to check your own tires right now. Step 1. Go to any one of your tires. Look at the sidewall. You'll see the word DOT followed by several letters and numbers. Step 2. Focus on the last 4 digits of that sequence. The first 2 digits tell you the week of manufacture. The last 2 digits tell you the year. So, 1420 means week 14 of 2020 around April 2020. 5021 means week 50 of 2021 December 2021. If your tires have a code that's 3 digits, like 408, they were made before the year 2000, and those are far beyond safe limits. Step 3. Once you've found the code, check your tires' age. If they're 6 years or older, it's time to start planning a replacement. If they're 10 years or more, they should be changed immediately. And don't forget your spare tires can be just as dangerous, especially if they've been sitting unused in a boot for years. Now, here's another thing most drivers don't realize. Garage or MOT testers aren't required to check tire age unless you ask them to. They'll look at tread depth, damage, and pressure, but they won't always inspect the DOT code. So, it's on you to stay informed, and it takes less than a minute to check. It could literally save your life. Let's talk money for a second. Some drivers hesitate to replace tires because of cost. But think of it this way, replacing an old set of tires might cost you £300 to £500. But driving on old unsafe tires could cost you £2,500 per tire in fines if they're found unroadworthy, 3 penalty points each, and potentially thousands in damages if you cause an accident. In other words, a quick check today can save you a small fortune tomorrow. Now, what if you've just bought a used car? This is a major red flag zone. Many second-hand cars, especially older models, are sold with tires that are years past their safe lifespan. They might pass MOT inspections, but they're ticking time bombs. So, before you even drive that car home, check the DOT code. If you spot anything older than 6 years, ask the dealer to replace them or factor it into your price negotiation. You wouldn't buy a car with expired insurance or worn-out brakes, so don't settle for expired tires either. Here's another insider tip. Don't rely on tread depth alone. Tread tells you how much grip the tire has left, but not how strong the rubber still is. A 6-year-old tire with 6 m of tread might actually be less safe than a 2-year-old tire with just 3 m left. Why? Because age weakens the structure from within, and no amount of tread can fix that. So always check both tread and age. Let's talk briefly about storage and sunlight too. Even if your car isn't driven often, tires degrade faster when exposed to direct sunlight, heat, or moisture. If your car sits on a driveway all year round, the UV rays can harden the rubber in just a few years. So, if you store your car, caravan, or trailer, make sure the tires are covered or rotated occasionally to prevent flat spots and UV damage. These simple steps can add years of life and safety to your tires.